that is the story of a massive car pileup on the national road number 81 down in, I think it's in Silesia, right? Where you have someone stopping at a zebra crossing, and then you have one car, just banging into him, and then you have another car. Yes, it was a pileup, I think is the professional term used for a car accident of such magnitude. And yeah, but basically it was filmed. The thing which I wanted to get onto is the fact that it's filmed on a dash cam. Now, of course, Russian dash cams are extremely popular and people like watching them for all the crazy stuff that happens on Russian roads. But when you actually look at Polish dash cams, you think, wow, it's actually quite, it's normal, but extremely sinister, because it's generally people not concentrating on the road. The amount of people, Paddy, I see texting while driving is just insane, absolutely insane. I would say that I'm a pretty aggressive driver, having lived in Warsaw for quite a long time now. But when I see people texting, I go feel, my face goes red, and I find it very hard not to honk my horn. Sorry?
You grimace with distaste, or do you?
Yes, I grimace with distaste, and I give them an evil stare, like, "What are you doing?" But anyway, Polish dash cams obviously are, worth watching. There are actually a couple of YouTube channels dedicated to Polish dash cams, and they are actually there to, act as a warning to other drivers and to pedestrians, and just to make sure that, okay, you are on the road, you got to watch out, and you got to concentrate on what you're doing, and not use your mobile phone or drink and drive or whatever. You see some pretty crazy stuff. And living in Poland, you just see lots of crazy stuff on Polish roads anyway. And I mean, one thing I will say is that, like, a whole bunch of new laws which came into force this summer, which means that pedestrians have right of way on zebra crossings and all the rest of it. And now Poles have to even slow down and stop at a zebra crossing if someone even is thinking about getting onto a zebra crossing. So they're catching up with the UK, because as far as I remember, that was always part of the driving law in the United Kingdom. Here, if you saw a pedestrian on the side of the road, you just speed up. Oh yes, and Jeffrey's written Polish tailgaters. That's it. Polish tailgaters. There's a new law. Then one of the new laws is also that it's you're not allowed to tailgate. You can actually get arrested and fined and get lots of points for tailgating.
Funny you should mention that, John, because I drove 450 kilometers today from Gdansk to Warsaw, and more than once had that situation, including a guy who aggressively flashed his lights at me, despite the fact there were 3 cars, in front of me. There's not much I could do about that. So if I had the time, I'd probably whip my SD card out, stick it into my machine, download the forfending material and send it to the authorities, but I probably won't get around to it, but I bloody well should do, because it's absolutely outrageous. Yes, Polish safety on the roads is the subject here, and that video that you showed is quite shocking, because I think the sunlight is the big issue there, isn't it? Because they're coming on a bit of a low dip, the sun and there's some poor blighter crossing the road who almost gets destroyed by these 4 cars all smashing into each other. So he was lucky.
Yes, he was extremely lucky. And you see all kinds of accidents like that all the time. I've even seen, unfortunately, I've driven past, dead bodies covered in silver foil, and, gone past lethal accidents on Polish roads. This is before the advent of Poland's new expressways, which have been built over the past few years. But yeah, when I first moved to Poland, I saw some pretty horrific stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe there should be a viewer advisory. I'm sorry for saying that kind of thing. If I've
that's okay, John. If Poland's road safety record was any better, then you probably wouldn't have had that experience. You wouldn't have been able to talk about it. So it's chicken and egg rather situation here. So yes, this video here is the shocking information about yet another road accident, one of many on the Polish roads. I drove past 3 or 4. I mean, quite obvious situations where someone had just rear-ended someone else because they were tailgating. Exactly what our biggest supporter today, Jeffrey, is talking about here in his comment. And, so guys, if you just had a little bit more room between cars, you'd avoid so many car crashes and then make everyone else's life hell. So there you go. That's the video for today. Thank you, John. Well, guys, I think we're coming to the end of What's Up Poland. Let us know what you think about this. You can always subscribe to the First News wherever you find it, or subscribe to What's Up Poland. John and I are your witty, irreverent hosts. Sometimes we talk about some serious stuff, but we always try and do it with a little bit of light humor. I'd like to pay great tribute to our friend Jeffrey Simbler, watching us. I think he's gone back now. He's been touring around Poland, keeping the world entertained with his stories. So Jeffrey, I am saluting you.
Always a pleasure.
Absolute legend. Really great guy. He's been a guest on Heart of Poland. Well-deserved guest. Fascinating character and story as well. So I do encourage you to check out Jeffrey if you're watching this on our Facebook page. If, however, you're watching What's Up Poland for the first time and you're interested in these witty stories of Poland, then of course you can go to thefirstnews.com, the premier English language website for news about Poland, where you'll find fascinating interviews and stories about fascinating people leading fascinating lives. Thank you very much, John. I will let you go now. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye to you. And goodbye to you wherever you're watching. We'll see you again for another episode of
What's Up Poland.